We had a pretty easy day planned. I was going to take a truck we were going to deliver a line truck to Texarkana, and I had to get some more vaccinations for going to Puerto Rico. I walked outside to get in the truck, and me and Jake were just kind of bickering back and forth like normal, just arguing for the sake of arguing.
We were about to leave to go start our job for the day, and so I went and got him in his pickup and moved it across the parking lot to where the line truck was that they were going to take to Texarkana. And I was just giving him friendly reminders about not parking his truck in front of my truck, and then he was saying something and we crossed paths, and
I turned around to say something to him over my shoulder and just tripped over my own 2 feet. I was falling towards the bumper of the line truck, and so I tried to move my body around, and I grabbed the back side of the bumper, I thinking that's what twisted me around, and I fell down on my back and hit the back of my head on the lug nut of the line truck.
I knew he was hurt bad because he really wasn't moving, and I mean it scared me because that's probably one of the biggest dramatic experiences that I've had in my life, because I thought when I ran up on him, his whole body was stiff and there was blood coming out of his head, and I didn't want to hurt him anymore, so I kind of grabbed him by the shoulders and moved him a little bit away from the tire. And I kept on asking him if he was all right, and his eyes were wide open, but I don't think anybody was home. And he was making a noise out of his mouth. He wasn't talking, he was kind of groaning. I think I asked him a few times if he was all right, and he, wasn't responding at all, so I just yelled to call for an ambulance because I knew there were other crew members outside. And then at some point I took off running to my bucket truck to get a roll of paper towels because his head was bleeding pretty good. And then by that time, everybody that was inside and outside, they were already rushing and to tend to help the deuce. He kind of came to, and he was moving around, and he got on his knees and kept on wanting to get up, and one of the guys kept on telling him to stay down, to lay down, but he was on persisted on getting up. And then I think he stayed on his knees for a little while we tried to keep the blood from coming from his head. And then shortly after that, he got up and we walked him inside to where it was warmer. That way we could wash blood off of him.
Well, I remember coming to, and Jake was knelt down over me, and his eyes were huge. And I'd went through a similar experience with another employee falling and hitting their head, and when I was a lot younger, so I knew what it felt like. I knew he was freaked out, and I was trying to tell him that I was okay, but I don't think that's what was coming out.
But I knew he was going to be okay because he knew what was going on, and he was walking around. I mean, he still wasn't all the way there, but he knew enough to where I knew he was going to be all right.
I think the safety gorilla was the loss of focus that I had. Instead of stopping and turning around to bicker with Jake, I kept on walking because it was in passing. And it's something we all do very often is look over our shoulder and walk, but I guess you're definitely taking you're taking your mind off walking and putting your mind on what else you're doing. So my advice would be to stay focused on what you're doing. As linemen, we stay focused when we're working a storm, when we're doing some of the dangerous tasks we do, but we also got to remember to stay focused when we're walking across a parking lot or driving or some of the other mundane tasks that we do all the time, walking up and down steps, getting in and out of the bucket truck. There's lots of things that we do that are very mundane, but can cause that you can get hurt real bad doing.